Right now, without thinking about it, you are doing something almost nothing else on Earth does. You are holding your entire body upright on two thin legs. Stand up, take a step, and something strange happens. You tip forward, start to fall, and then catch yourself. A step is a fall you win every single time, and you never notice it. But this quiet trick is one of the oldest, least understood things about you. It shaped your hips, your spine, the whole way you are built from the ground up. And here is the part that should stop you. We still cannot say for sure why it began. Walking upright is slower than running on four legs, and it leaves you exposed. It comes with real costs. Your body is still quietly paying, generation after generation, including yours. So why did evolution keep it and build the whole human body around it, when no one can point to the single reason it ever started? To get anywhere near an answer, we have to throw out the story you were probably told. Most of us imagine one single moment. An ape-like ancestor slowly straightens up and looks out over the plain. It takes the first step, and from that day on, we walk. It is a clean, satisfying picture. It is also almost certainly wrong. Look at the oldest evidence, and there is no single dramatic standing up. Meet Ardipithecus remitis, Ardi, known from remarkably complete fossils from about 4.4 million years ago, in what is now Ethiopia, and Ardi is a strange in-between. Her hips suggest she could walk upright on the ground, but her feet still had a grasping big toe, like a thumb, made for gripping branches, and she did not live on any open plain. She lived in woodland, among the trees. So the earliest walking is not a creature that came down and committed to the ground. It is one that did both, walked a little, climbed a lot, for a very long time, which raises an uncomfortable question. If walking started this slowly, this halfway, then what was it even for? The most popular answer is one you already know. We stood up to free our hands, to carry things and make tools. Charles Darwin himself suggested it. Free the hands and you can build, and the upright body pays for itself. It is elegant. The problem is the timing. We can date when our ancestors were walking because they left proof. At Laetoli in Tanzania, footprints were pressed into soft volcanic ash and then preserved, a trail dated to about 3.66 million years ago. Not bones you have to interpret, actual footprint, with a human-like heel strike, the big toe already in line, walking upright. Lucy, the famous skeleton, from around 3.2 million years ago, has a body clearly built for walking too. Now line that up against the tool. The oldest stone tools everyone agrees on are about 2.6 million years old. There are contested claims of cruder tools near 3.3 million years, and even those, if they hold up, still come after the footprint. So walking does not arrive with tool making, it comes first, by hundreds of thousands of years, and possibly by well over a million. We were walking upright for an enormous stretch of time before we built anything at all, so we did not stand up to make tools. The famous reason is an effect we mistook for a cause. So if it was not the hands, maybe it was the world they lived in. For decades, the leading idea was the savanna. The climate dried, the forests shrank, the grassland spread. Out in the open, standing up helped you see over the grass, or stay a little cooler under the sun. It is a powerful story, and it dominated the science for a long time. But remember Ardi, she was already walking, at least part of the time, in woodland, not open savanna. The trees were still there, and the deeper researchers look at the ancient landscape, the messier it gets. It was not a clean switch from forest to grassland. It was a shifting patchwork, clumps of trees, open clearings, changing back and forth over enormous stretches of time. There is no single clean moment when the forest simply vanished and pushed a startled ape upright. The environment, it turns out, does not hand us one clean trigger either, and that is when the mystery changes shape. We have lost the tidy reason and the tidy place, and a harder question moves to the front, not where it happened or what it was for, but why it stuck at all. Here is what is easy to forget. Upright walking is, in a lot of ways, a bad deal. On two legs, you are slow. A predator that runs on four legs can outrun you without even trying. You are also easier to spot, standing tall in the open, and the costs do not stop at speed. Balancing a whole body over 2 feet strains a spine that began as a horizontal bridge. Back pain is one of the most common complaints humans have. Most people feel it at some point in their lives, and our upright posture is often named as one reason among several. Then there is birth. Human childbirth is difficult, and for most of history, it was genuinely dangerous. One long-standing idea blames the upright pelvis. Reshaped for walking, it left a tighter passage for a big-headed baby, but that explanation is debated. Others argue birth timing is set more by a mother's energy limits than by her hips. What is not in doubt is that being born human is hard. In a way, it is not for most animals. So put it together: slower, more exposed, a body that aches, births that can kill. Evolution does not usually keep an expensive trait for no return, and it certainly does not build an entire body on top of one. So the payoff must have been real, and it must have come early, real enough to be worth all of that. So what could possibly be worth that much? This is where the honest answer starts, and it is not a single triumphant reveal. Science has several candidates, and each one explains only a piece. One is energy. A 2007 study measured how much fuel it takes to move, and found that a human walking upright uses only about a quarter of the energy that a chimpanzee spends knuckle walking on all fours. In a world where food is scattered and you have to cover ground to find it, spending less just to travel is a quiet, constant advantage. Another is carrying. 2 feet on the ground leave 2 hands free to carry food back to others, or to hold an infant that can no longer cling to fur. Others point to reaching food while standing, or staying cooler in the open. Each idea is a real, partial hypothesis. None of them is the whole answer. And step back and something clicks. Not an answer, but a better question. We keep hunting for the moment, the reason, the one advantage. But that is not how any of this works. There may never have been a single first step or a single purpose. Instead, picture a small edge, a little less energy here, a free pair of hands there, repeated across an unimaginable number of lives. There was no plan and no decision, just tiny advantages compounding quietly, generation after generation, slowly reshaping feet and hips and habit, until an animal that used to spend its life climbing was slowly built around the ground instead. Not because walking was ever the goal, but because each small step of it paid off just enough to keep. By the time the process was finished, everything human was already resting on it. Our free hands, our difficult births, even the long road toward our brain. So the next time you stand up and cross a room, notice the thing you never noticed. That easy, ordinary step is the end of a process that took millions of years and left no clear beginning. Emotion so old and strange that science still cannot fully explain why it started. You do it without a single thought, and it is still one of the oldest unanswered questions about what made you human.